The higher level is sweeping and passing. It's not necessarily foot locks. Although in no gi, it's definitely for like, if we're doing no gi, I want to tangle 50-50 to break your leg. If we're doing gi, I have the only reasons to tangle the 50-50 in the gi is either I just want to stall like crazy, or I'm proficient in the position and can attack you basically by engaging in the position and then disengaging in the position. One of the most common misunderstandings about when someone's good at something is if you have skill in a certain position, one of the things that makes you skillful in the position is the fact that you can enter or leave it at will. It's like with the armbar I was showing earlier. If I'm just trying to reef on an armbar on you and you're starting to get on top, me being skillful at the armbar at that point doesn't change the physics of you having a good defense and being about to get on top of me. Me being good at arm bars is, or how I express being good at the armbar is by, for those of you that are familiar with the old Kenny Rogers song, you gotta know when to hold on, know when to fold. Yeah. So if I know when to quit on the position, that's one of the expressions of a high level of skill. If I'm just going crazy to try to make one thing happen, I'm probably not really skillful in the position. I might be, intermediate skill, or maybe a little bit better than other people. And by the way, when it comes to leg locks, and I apologize for the tangent, I have to explain this. When it comes to leg locks in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there is such a huge variety of skill. You could be okay at leg locks and be worlds ahead of everyone else that you're training with. Doesn't mean you're good at leg locks. I was this guy. For the first 4 or 5 years of my training, I was doing exclusively no-gi. And I was decent at heel hooks, which means I could walk into, we're talking mid-2000s, I could walk into any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club and tap the instructor. And I just felt like the best grappler in the world. And I was terrible. Like, I was bad at Jiu-Jitsu, but I knew heel hooks and no one else knew them. And then I started training with my coach, Charles McCarthy, at American Top Team, and he knew heel hooks too. So my one thing that I could do was worthless against him. He just beat the crap out of me because of it. So being good at something doesn't mean you know it and someone else doesn't. It means you know it well enough to know when to engage and disengage. Does that kind of make sense? So we're going to go into the 50-50 now and use it to sweep the guy, but then we're going to disengage and pass. So the first thing we need to know is, how do I get up from the 50-50 in a way that the movement that we just did doesn't happen to me? Because if we're both in 50-50 and I start to stand up, and don't let me get to my feet, but as soon as I start to stand up, just put your foot on me and just grab my foot. Yeah, just like, I can't even think of getting to my feet without him just dropping me right back. Even if you let me get partway, like I might get to here, and then I just get spun right back. Right? So we want to make sure that we understand how can we get up without that previous movement being a problem for us. So what I'm going to look to do, again, we talked about the idea of externally or internally rotating the hip to enhance lever control. Right now we're dead even. We're basically, in 50-50. So I'm going to try to enhance the lever control by stepping my feet together and rotating it almost like I'm doing a sweep without actually having him be up on his feet. So I'm just going to turn my knees out, which you notice with that, see how that rotated Walter's hip. So now if you want to push me back, harder to do. See, I'm leaning all my weight over this side. When I go to get up, everybody knows what center of gravity is. Right? It's the point in your body where most of your weight is carried. So I want to shift my center of gravity so it's not under his control. Right now, my center of gravity is right above the levers that he has access to. It's right above him. So if he wants to spin me back, he can do it. He controls that center of gravity. So I'm going to spin to this side and shift my center of gravity so that it's over my shoulders. If it's over my hips, he has direct and indirect control of my hips. So I go center of gravity all the way to my shoulders, and I technical stand up over here with both my hands still on the mat. This is important. If I come to here, my center of gravity comes over my hips again, and he can pop me back down. That's why you see people get dropped back down in the 50-50, is they're doing a technical stand-up without addressing the center of gravity issue that's making the 50-50 successful. We basically have hip attachment. I want to have hip attachment when it favors me, and then either disconnection, or I want to take my center of gravity out of my hips when it doesn't favor me. So I turn, and I shift my center of gravity way over this dead space, and I start to stand up, and I'm turning my toes this way, just because if, as we progress through this, if you ever want to apply it in no-gi, if I'm sitting here, I can still be heel hooked. So I want to make sure I'm turning my heel in, and you notice what that does, is it starts to actually bring my knee inside. So keep your hip elevated. Yeah, there we go. So I want to basically get, yeah, that's where I'm going to get to. Now that I'm here, I'm going to use my hand to try to unwind. He might be triangling his legs, he might be putting them together, it doesn't matter. I'm here, I unwind and I get my hand behind his knee. I just make sure I get my knee inside. If he doesn't triangle the legs, then it's even easier, because I just get to the end of the lever here, push, turn my knee inside, and still control the end of the lever to initiate my passing. Ready? Got the basic idea? So one more time, and I'll turn so that this side of the room can see what's happening in a second. So I rotate, put my center of gravity over space, technical stand-up, keeping my foot back, rotating my knee in here, and then I want to access a lever. So if this lever is covered, so triangle your legs, if this lever is covered, I access this lever first. Then I can start accessing this one. If it's not covered, I just access this lever first, back out. You can long step out if you like, you can knee cut through if you like, whatever you like. But just make sure that the whole time you're doing this, your base is proper, your center of gravity is way shifted off to the side. As soon as you load your hips up over the guy, you go back down. So here, I'm pushing that lever, and I'm stepping out. And then again, based on what style of passing you favor, you can initiate it however you like. If you have control of the levers, make sure you're still gripping here at the end of the lever, because now, if you're a leg drag guy, you can move back into here. If you like double unders, you can move back. Whatever style of passing you like is going to be available to you because you're controlling the end of the lever. So just turn so people get on this side of the room. See this movement. So here, also rotate, hands way out, stand up here, reach back, unwind, unwind, pass. So again, I'm making sure that I'm rotating his hip this way to shift his weight. Moving my weight over space, standing up in the push-up position. One more time. Unwind me.
And so when you start turning that way,
yeah,
do you have to keep my knee in here? Or does it feel
I don't have to.
I might have a root to your back.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If I allow you to hip escape a little bit, get this in here, then you have a root to my back. That's an excellent question, yes. Which is why I want to keep this knee and then go here. If you start to, while you're doing this, start to hip escape like that, I just control these levers. As long as I control these levers, I'm not in danger. This is, I don't want to go on a tangent about this, but this style of back take only works if I don't understand levers. If I'm hanging out here, I'm going to get my back taken. But if I understand levers, I can't have my back taken right now. I can step off. Like, there's a whole bunch of direct and indirect control schemes that you need to understand to take the back here against people who are really proficient at the position. As long as I control the end of the lever, I'm not worried about getting my back taken. I know Matt, Quan, and I have had this conversation a whole bunch of times, and gone through this technique a bunch of times with him trying to take my back from there. And I mean, literally, if you don't understand lever control and direct and indirect control, I'll start the match here. I don't care, I'm going to get out of this. But if, let's say you're controlling the end of the lever here, and here, now I'm in a lot more trouble. Because now if I try, let's say, then let me just go on. Let's say I'm here, and I'm just holding, your pants, and you just control my ankles. So it's pretty easy, but if I'm here, right, and you grabbing my ankles, it doesn't matter, because I notice I'm able to rock you all the time, but if I'm just holding you here, I can't rock you as well if you're controlling the end of the lever. And like how many times have, for those of you that play, a reverse deli heaver or deli heaver, where you've been almost on the guy's back, and he's just stepped around and reset the position, right? Like for example, if you're playing deli heaver, and he's like, yeah, exactly, that's like, perfect. That's like here, you're like, I'm gonna get it. Nope. You just reset the position. And you can think about it as a counter to a technique, but really, it's just a problem. So now, if you grab my pants, now it's a problem, because now I go to step, and like, uh-oh, he's controlling my center of gravity. My weight is under his control. So the issue with the back take here is you can never control this lever, it's too far away. So even if you put your foot in here, and I just kind of control that lever, and even if you get that knee kind of inside here, I just kind of control that leg. See, I can still control the end of this lever, so I can always fight my way back into position because I can get off of this lever and come back. So I know it's kind of a complicated answer, but like really, if you didn't know this stuff, anytime someone did this to you, you'd be like, and get this knee inside, you'd be like, ah crap, I'm getting my back taken. Oh well, time to give up. But really, as long as I'm here and I can disengage this lever, I'm not worried about getting my back taken because I have superior control. Even though it doesn't seem like it. Like, there's a difference between like position and alignment. Like position might be like side now, or position there might be he's about to take my back. But the alignment of our body, I actually have an advantage. And if I have an advantage in alignment, I'm gonna win. It's kind of like if I'm holding side mount on Walter, but he's got his elbows in, and he's keep your weight off here. There we go. I can't put any weight. I think it's safe. Just go back to guard. Like, he has superior alignment. I have dominant position, but my alignment doesn't beat his in any way. But if I go here, and now he wants to do the escape, he's not going to be able to do it. So sometimes people confuse position with alignment, and you can be in good position, but bad alignment. And that's why people are escaping. Like if somebody's escaping your mount a lot, or your back control, or your side mount, it's not that they know the secret technique to get out of that position. It's probably that your alignment is incorrect, and you haven't disrupted their alignment. So I'm going to go up a little tangent if you let me keep talking. So let's try to go back to that original movement. So from here, I get to here. Even if he steps that leg in behind, I just control that lever, and I'm going to be okay. Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool. All right, so let's give it a try.